The budget sessions in India are one of the most critical events. Apart from elections and festivals, I think budget is where everybody is clued in. क्या मिलेगा, salaried professionals को tax bracket कम होगा, कौन से sectors में पैसा जाएगा, and there's a lot of interest and excitement around budget. So by the time you're seeing this video, or if you're the budget would have already been announced, or maybe you're early and you're watching this video earlier. Thank you. So what I'm going to talk about in this video is the market movements for union budget for the past 10 years. This is not a stock recommendation, but you should watch this video till the very end. It's going to be a short video because I'm going to talk about every budget session for the past 10 years, what has happened, and then towards the end present you a heat map and show you how the market reacted. Now this is not a prediction, and the heat map is just a symbolic representation. Correlation doesn't impact cause. Zaruri nahi hai ki jo dips ya positive trends are because of budget. But if something is happening for a very long period of time, it's safe to say that we can assume it as a pattern. Let's dive in. So starting 2013, Mr. Chittambaram had the key proposals around higher taxes for wealthy individuals and companies, 10% surcharge on income above 1 crore, 10% surcharge on companies with revenues over 10 crore, and reduction in some securities transactions. So Sensex reaction dropped by about 1.5-2%, ending below 19,000. It's very, very important to see that 2013 the Sensex was 19,000. Today, if you look at it, Sensex sits at 80,000. Just the fact that if you would have continued to invest in the benchmark, any of them, you would have made a ton of money. Chalo, आगे बढ़ते हैं. Union budget 2014, again Sensex declined by 0.28%, very small dip. Nifty dropped by very small points. So not a lot of changes here. 2015, long sharp dip. I think the following month there was somewhere about 4.6% decline, which is huge, even though there were corporate tax reductions. So difficult to say what caused it, but this has been an ongoing trend. 2016, Mr. Jaitley, he announced a lot of stuff for rural development. There was no increase in taxes. There was no change in capital gains. Even then you lost somewhere about 0.5%, which is absolutely okay. And by this time, it's important to see that we are closing around somewhere around 23,000. So 2013, we were close to 19. 2016, we are 23,000. And then 2017 budget, where there was a long term, where there was a reduction in the tenure for LTCG, and this was reduced from 3 years and 2 years. Even then, the capital gain timing was reduced. There was some sort of a hike, a little bit up in about 1.5-2% increase. Union budget 2018, there was a lot of focus on MSMEs, a lot of long-term capital gain tax introductions, but there was very slight dip. Again, so you're seeing a pattern, right? Dips are becoming common. So Union budget 2019, there was a lot of discussions here, decent amount of fall, somewhere close to 1,000 points fall this time. Taxation changes were there. This was partly by Piyush Goyal and partly by Nirmala Sitharaman. So there wasn't a lot of significant changes at this time, but it was still a drop. 2020 was a very difficult year. I think 2020, it's very difficult to talk about economically because of predominantly COVID impact. So even though the market crashed by about 2.43%, in March in 20, there was a huge dip, right? Everybody knows COVID. So yeah, we don't need to go there. But then no major boosts, no relief from LTCG, new tax slab and lower rates. 2021, good boosting, about 2,000 points, lot of development, lot of initiatives being pushed, and some policies pushed here and there. But there were a lot of government expenditure by this time which were coming up. So the boost could also be because of that. So now it's important to see that for a certain time period within a certain government, we did see dip, but it has been a positive trend under the current government. So if you look back and look at it from a political perspective, again, I'm not a political analyst, you would see that the impact and the reaction of markets has been different in different governments as well. Okay, that wasn't intentional. 2022, again a growth in the market. 2023, again a growth. So the past post COVID markets are reacting positively for budget. Again, whether it's a post COVID impact, whether it's a political government impact, whether the budget is actually pushing a lot of things, whether it's driven by the economic expenditure by the government, none of it is very very evident at this stage. You need more data to discuss. Now, as promised, here's a heat map for NSC. Now, if you see, there's a good amount of down dipping happening from 2013, minus a little plus, but minus there. June is somewhere similar, not very strong, but since 2020, it has given like positive responses. For BSc, you will see the similar trend. February has been a dipping month, and June has been, not great dipping month, but moderately dipping month, but sometimes even positive. In fact, the last one was positive. So, what to expect today? I think everybody wants their taxes to be reduced. That's understandable. So, hopefully, we should see some tax rebates coming out. The amount of expenditure being pushed and the government putting a lot of money in sectors like railways, that is to be seen whether they continue to do that, which could lead to growth in companies like IRFC and those kind of railway driven stocks or defense sectors. But if they pause it, you could see a sharp decline in that, and we'll do another video on Saturday to actually see how the week has reacted. Then you could also see a lot of money flowing back into banking sector if they are trying to bring economic reforms in that sense. But if there is tax boost, I would be very happy. So I would bet that things could go on a positive side. If there is no tax boost, then I think there should be a decline. So let's wait and see how the day unfolds. I have personally not hold any positions. I don't believe in this kind of timing and doing all the deep trade that a lot of people do. But this could be a very choppy week, interesting week. So yeah, all the very best for making money. Until next video, thank you. Please do subscribe and join the membership community. I usually talk about Python algo trading, but this being a budget week, it was important to talk about it. So yeah, that's what we did. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.